in the topic of fascinating of fermentation food in Southeast Asia, especially in Indonesia and Thailand. And this webinar is already now in the episode 5 already. And if you want to know more about food style, please follow today. So for not waiting of the times of this webinar for today, I would like to inviting our dean to be the open the webinar today. So I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Napalapi Leungskun, the Dean of School of Food Industry, KMITL, to open this webinar. Please. อาจารย์เปิดไมโครโฟน please.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Dear distinguished participants, I'm pleased to welcome you to our food webinar at Food Industry. King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lakabang, is our institution. And today we are on the topic of the webinar on the fascinating or fermentation food in Southeast Asia. It aims at providing international collaboration as well as knowledge in food science and technology, especially food fermentation area, which is a very important part of food biotechnology that is capable of creating exceptional characteristics of food by power of microorganisms and can be further developed in the future. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Ertias Utami from Department of Food Agricultural Product Technology, Faculty of Agricultural Technology, University Gadjah Mada Yogyakarta, Indonesia, to sharing your knowledge about fermentation products in Indonesia, and also our Thai speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Pichayada Somboon, who will be joining us today for fermented food in Thailand. Moreover, I would like to thank Instill Technology Sumatra, Indonesia, to assist us to manage this webinar. I believe that by participating in this webinar, we are in the right place and in the right time of biotechnology. Together, let us accelerate our exchange of food fermentation and biotechnology ideas through science, technology, and innovation. I wish you all have a successful webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much for today.
Okay, thank you so much for our Dean's open speech. So I think that many of participants in here already and would like to curious to know about the fermentation food. But before that, I would like to ask everyone to join us to take a photo together. So I would like that every participant is open your camera, please, and make yourself at beautiful smile as much as possible, and we will take a photo together because when we freshings everyone is look good. So please open your cameras. Show your beautiful face with us today, and we have the many participants, and it is first webinar that we join with the Indonesia University. We are very happy about it. So I think there's most of you open the camera, please. I don't want to see just only your hair, your face too, right? The beautiful one. If you're wearing a mask, you can smile because your eye is so smile too. So we will take the T slot of taking a photo because we have many of you. So I would like to everyone join in the screen too. So our photographers, are you ready? Okay, so I think everyone is ready. So keep smiling, like Thai smile, okay? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so another one, please. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, the last one, I would like you to show like a little bit of small heart or something. Okay, so take photo together. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So everyone looking good. Okay. So we already take a photo together. Okay. So I think. Okay, so I think it's not to waste of the time. I would like to start things of our webinar today. So when we're talking about fermented food in Thailand, we know about the tempeh, very famous in here, and I'm curious to know much more about fermentation food. The same as you would like to know about our fermentation food too, like a fish sauce or pala, I don't know. So our speaker today will be sharing their presentations and will follow by the question and answer for the 10 minutes. So if you have the questions, you can leave in the chat box or you also free to asking in the Q&A sections. And when the end of the webinar, don't leave us. So we will sharing about the online certificate QR code. So you can scanning of the QR code to get your e-certificate. So don't forget it and stay with us until the end of the webinar. Now is the time of the first speakers already. Professor Dr. T.S. Utami for her presentation in the topic of fermentation product in Indonesia. So please join us to welcome the speaker, please. Professors. So, okay. Are you ready? Okay, so I think it's ready. So open your microphone, please.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, hi. So I will give the floor to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. How to spell your name? Oracho? Okay, yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to thank to the Dean, Dr. Nata Trapi Luangsaku, and also for the School of Food Industry, King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Langkrabang, Thailand, and Institute Technology Sumatra, ITERA, who's invite me to join to the very nice and interesting webinar. I will share my okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have to introduce myself. I'm coming from the Department of Food and Agriculture Technology, Agricultural Technology, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. First of all, before I talk about the Indonesian fermented food, I would like to introduce that Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world, extending some 2,000 kilometers from north to south and more than 5,000 kilometers from the east to west, and consists of 70,508 islands and about 6,000 of which are inhabited. And Indonesia also a multicultural country with more than 1,300 ethnic groups, and each region of ethnic group in Indonesia has a unique traditional food, including a fermented food with a different history, different purposes, raw material, and taste. And this traditional food can be the symbol or history evidence that the differentiate one ethnic group from another. And fermentation, we know that is one of the oldest and the most economic method in preventing, preserving the quality and safety of food. And it's not only prolong the shelf life of food, but provide a better nutritional bioavailability, enhance the flavor and aroma, and also can be considered as a functional food that exert health and promoting benefit. And most of the, if we talk about the traditional fermented food, are conducted by natural spontaneous fermentation involving mixed beneficial microbes, including yeast, mold, and bacteria, and their combination from the ingredient and environment surrounding the industry. And if we talk about the fermentation, the manufacturer of fermentation food use a diverse of raw material. I'll show you in Indonesia, we can classify it into the fermented grain, cereal, and legumes such as a tempeh, a soy sauce, and tauco, and fermented root or tuber like a tape. Maybe you have something like tape, a fermentation of milk product that we only have a very few, such as dade, and fermented fruit and vegetable products such as tempoyak from durian, and fermented fish and meat product such as like a peda, terasi, rusip, chow, and etc. And the fermentation is can give antimicroagent preservation, and the nutrition of the food fermentation is also good for the human health, and also have some functionality and organoleptic like aroma, flavor, and appearance, and have a unique flavor and taste, and also have an economic value. Okay, I will talk first about the tempeh. I think everybody knows about tempeh, that the word tempeh appears to have originated in Central Java, Indonesia. And if you can see here that the tempeh is as a compact cake form product, which is prepared from the whole soybean through fermentation with Rhizopus species. And this is the traditional ethnic food produced in the early 17th century. And tempeh is indigenous fermented food of Indonesia, and this is the most extensively studied worldwide because of this some health benefit. And tempeh was formerly considered as an inferior food due to its low cost compared to the other protein foods such as meat, fish, and egg. But over the last 4 decades, the attitude toward the tempeh has changed, and now it's considered as an inexpensive food with high nutritional values. So tempeh is consumed by people in low as well as high socio-economic level in Indonesia. And you can see that we can just fry the tempeh, and we can eat with some staple food and some vegetable, or we can also cook the tempeh with some vegetable, and also we can, because this protein content and nutritive value, to make tempeh good substitute for the meat. So for the vegetarian also they can make like satay tempeh or burger tempeh or even steak tempeh. And outside Indonesia, tempeh gains interest as a major protein source other than meat, especially nutritional and health functionality. Oops. Okay. Okay. So if we look at the processing of the tempeh fermentation, actually tempeh have a 2 distinct fermentation period. Let's call it the fermentation, lactic acid fermentation that occur during the soaking of the soybean that result in acidification and reduce the pH to pH about 5.0, that can prevent the growth of the contaminated microorganism. And the second fermentation period is, they call it the fungal fermentation, that we that result mycelial growth, and where we add some starter culture, like we call it ragi tempeh or starter culture, which consists of Rhizopus oligosporus, or some also use hibiscus delicious leaves or usal, which have like Donny Harry, that which the spore of Rhizopus oligosporus can be found entering them. And then during the fermentation of fungal, this is carried out at about 30 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 70 to 80% for about 24 hours. Then the mass is born by a cottony mycelium of the mold into solid white cake. And here during the after mixed with inoculum, then the soybean is wrapped with traditionally wrapped with banana leaf, and up to now we still have some banana leaf. And but for the later now it is introduced the plastic bag with it is perforated, yeah, to give the condition for the mold growth, yeah. And then now if you look at for the higher scale of tempeh fermentation, most of them they now use the plastic bag with some perforated, yeah, to give some micro aerophilic microorganism to growth. Okay. And during the fermentation, there are some change in the chemical composition of the soybean, and the mold Rhizopus oligosporus produce a variety of enzymes such as like amylase, lipase, and protease that will degrade the micronutrient into the lower molecular weight of substance with a higher water solubility, and also the level of anti-nutritional constituents are decreased, and the nutritional quality and digestibility of the fermented product are improved due to the enzymatic activity of the mold. And it's reported that the phytic acid was reduced by about 65% as a result of the phytase enzyme produced by Rhizopus oligosporus. As we know that the phytic acid is known as anti-nutritional factor, which is able to bind to the divalent mineral, so that's lowering the mineral bioavailability. So by the decrease in phytic acid, that's give a beneficial effect on the mineral bioavailability. Okay, and it's also has been observed during worldwide too that when prisoners suffering from dysentery, they were able to digest tempeh much better than soybean. So that's because of the fermentation carried out by the Rhizopus oligosporus with which can digest or hydrolyze some macromolecule. So that makes the tempeh digest much better than soybean. And the pediatric research in Indonesia indicated that in infant, the recovery after acute bacterial diarrhea was faster when the tempeh was consumed as an ingredient of the infant food formula. And also, the tempeh show strong bioactivity in vitro by reducing the addition of enterotoxigenic diarrhea, causing E. coli to animal and human intestinal cells. Okay, maybe I just give a rough information. One is the ketchup. Ketchup is a soy sauce, yeah, Indonesian soy sauce. That we have two types of soy sauce: it's sweetened soy sauce and salty soy sauce. Is that according to Codex Alimentarius Commission, soy sauce is a clear liquid seasoning obtained by fermentation of soybean and or by hydrolysis of soybean or other vegetable protein sources to produce soy extract, which is further processed into sweet soy sauce or salty soy sauce. And for the tempeh, we use this yellow soybean, but for the soy sauce, we use the black soybean. And for the ketchup fermentation, how to make the ketchup is the ketchup made by spreading the cooked soybean on trees and leaving for a period to molded soybean or ketchup, koji. And the molded soybean are then mixed with a salt solution to carry out the second state fermentation under 20% of brine solution for 40 to 120 days at room temperature, where the flavor will develop during the brine fermentation. And during the brine fermentation, the three overlapping phases occur. The first one is amino acid production, followed by lactic acid fermentation based on the acetate and lactate production, and lastly, the yeast fermentation based on the ethanol and glycerol production. And then after brine fermentation, then the fermented mass is filtered, and the filtered brine undergoes several post-fermentation, such as the addition of caramelized sugar, and then boiling for several hours with put some spices to get the thick, strong brown color, and also evaporation of the volatile compound such as ethanol. So this ketchup is very popular condiment, yeah, in Indonesia. I think we eat all with the ketchup, and we also put some chili, and also in almost all of the Indonesian dishes we add some soy sauce. The other something that it's not the same, but it's also from soybean, but this we use it yellow color, yellow like soybean. We call it tauco. Tauco is like a paste, yeah. Maybe it's like a miso-like product because it's a yellow color saline paste with a meat-like flavor. Tauco is used in Chinese and Indonesian cuisine as a flavoring or condiment. And this is very popular in West Java, especially in Cianjur. Yeah, tempeh is very popular in all the Java islands, but the tauco is originated from the West Java, and the tauco is available in viscous, liquid form or semi-solid form. Yeah, is obtained by sun-drying the liquid product to the final moisture content of 25%. Yeah. Okay, so how to make a tauco? Basically, the whole yellow soybean are boiled and then spread on the bamboo trees to cool, and then mix the seed with roasted rice or glutinous rice flour, and then ferment for about 3 to 5 days with hibiscus leaves or laru, or with involving malt fermentation by Rhizopus oligosporus, Rhizopus oryzae, and Aspergillus oryzae, and then followed by brine fermentation of about 20% for 20 to 30 days involving Bacillus delbrueckii and Hansenula species. And then after the brine fermentation, the brine is strained, and we add some palm sugar to mix and cook and store at 24 hours or place directly into the butter. And this is because it is so spontaneous fermentation. The microorganism present in the tauco, we found it like Aspergillus oryzae, Rhizopus oligosporus, Rhizopus oryzae, Hansenula, Schizosaccharomyces zoci, and Lactobacillus delbrueckii. And this, as a condiment, we use the tauco to mix with some like stir fry of vegetable stir fry. Yeah, it's give some assisting flavor. Okay, that's fermentation for using the soybean as a raw material. Another very popular food fermentation in Indonesia is, we call it tape. The tape the substrate for the tape is a starchy material such as like cassava or glutinous rice. Yeah, there are two kind of tape fermentation using cassava and glutinous rice, and this is also sorry. Sorry. Yeah, you can see here the one is above is the cassava tape singkong. Yeah, this is a sweet combination of the sweet or fermented food with the alcoholic flavor. Yeah, the tape is prepared from the glutinous rice or cassava or maybe other cereals, but the most popular glutinous rice, the black black one and the white one, and also the cassava. And tape is eaten as a dessert and delicacy in Indonesia. The alcohol content range from 3 to 8.5%. And I think tape is also we can find similar one, yeah, tape in Malaysia and Philippines, also maybe in Vietnam. The one thing in the fermentation of tape, the important one is the ragi. Ragi is a starch culture or inoculum. So this is also very unique and ragi that make traditional in Indonesia. Before I talk about the ragi, I would like to show how to make the tape. So first, the cassava or the glutinous rice are washed and soaked, and then steamed. So that it cool at room temperature, and after that, sprinkle with ragi powder. I'll show you later the ragi powder, the right powder, and the usually cover with a banana leaf, or you can also put in the plastic bag which is perforated, yeah, for fermentation for 2 to 3 days. Yeah. And then after the fermentation, you have to put the tape in the refrigerator to stop the fermentation process. And during the fermentation, after there are fermentation of tape singkong, there are two main stages which are very important in the releasing the unique flavor of sweet, sour, and alcoholic. The first one is the conversion of starch into simple sugar carried out by amylase producer, this is malt or yeast, and then after that the conversion of the sugar that produced by malt into alcohol and acid carried out by certain yeast and lactic acid bacteria. So the combination or the proportion of the sweet, sour, and alcoholics is very much depend on the ragi itself. Okay. Now this is I also the ragi, the starter culture. This look like this. So what is the ragi? Yeah, ragi actually a mixture of rice flour, sugar, some spices like garlic, pepper, red chilies. That's the combination. The proportion and the kind of the spices will select the microorganism in the ragi. This also ragi is Indonesian traditional starter culture that's used principally for the fermentation of starch-rich substrate, usually for the cassava and glutinous rice. And the ragi is a starter culture for tape, and also I'll talk later on about the brum or white barley, yeah, brum cake, and from beverage. So the quality of the ragi is very depends on the producer or even depends on the phases of the production, because the combination of the rice and the spices, and so it's quite simple how to make the ragi. You just mix the rice flour with some spices and then some sugar, and then put together, sift it, mix and mold it to the round flat cakes, and incubate it for about 2 days, and then sun dry for 2 to 3 days, so that you can keep that starter culture in room temperature. So here I show you the microorganism in the ragi. There are some amylolytic modes, such as microamylosis or rhizopus. As I said, that the Susvaria among the ragi's producer, but mostly they contain the amylolytic mode, like amylosis and rhizopus, with a saccharophile and licophile, and also amylolytic yeast, such as Endomycopsis, also for the saccharophile and big other producer, and also non-amylolytic yeast, such as Saccharomyces, Hansenula, Candida, which produce the alcohol and pleasant aroma and specific odor for the tape. And also there are some lactic acid bacteria, such as the Pediococcus, which metabolize the sugar into lactic acid, so that produce the acid flavor or acid taste, and also amylolytic bacteria such like Bacillus. So this is ragi is to make the tape or brum or wine barley. They have their own ragi. They make their own ragi for their purpose. So, for instance, for the brum wine fermentation, like a brum barley, like that's an alcoholic beverage, this is preferable to use ragi containing fermentative yeast with high sugar tolerance and high alcohol producing capability and high amylolytic active mucor mode, so they can produce quite a high concentration of alcohol. And the other thing, there are some brum cake. There are two kinds of brum actually. It's brum cake or solid brum, and brum beverage or brum Bali, because the brum beverage only produced in Bali and West Nusa Tenggara, but mostly from Bali. So to make the brum cake or brum Bali, the process is more or less similar to the one who make a tape, but they use glutinous rice. Yeah? And the same as that, the glutinous rice has to be washed, soaked, and steamed and cooled at room temperature, and then sprinkled with ragi powder. And the fermentation, usually the time for the fermentation is a bit longer, because they need to have more liquid. So after the fermentation, then they have to filtrate, so to get the filtrate and leave the cake, and the filtrate, if you have to boil it. And to make the brum cake, the boiled filtrate then poured into the table, cover with a banana leaf, and then to make the brum Madiun. Madiun is the name of the city in the East Java, and Wonogiri is the name of the place in the Central Java. They produce different kind of brum cake from the brum Madiun. Then they cover with a banana leaf and left to cool at ambient temperature for 8 to 12 hours, and then they cut it into the blocks. So for the brum Madiun, you can see that this is a yellow, white, sweet sour snack, and where it is prepared in a block, it's about 0.5 to 5 to 7 centimeters. Yeah, and then this is like a snack. And but for the Wonokiri is like coin, yeah, we can the shapes like the coin, sweet, very soluble white, and with a thin circular block of about 5 centimeter. And for the other one is for the Brembali. Brembali is actually like alcoholic beverage. Yeah, this is very unique. Yeah, you can get the red or the white wines, depends on the glutinous rice they use. You can use the black glutinous rice or white glutinous rice, and then after boil, then there is a step that call it maturation or aging. It takes about 6 to 12 months, yeah, and to develop some flavor, and then bottling. And this is, I think, the Brembali is one of the famous alcoholic beverage in Bali, yeah, and the alcohol content of Brembali is about 6.1%, and during the fermentation, the pH is decreased, and after about 10 weeks, the pH reaches to 4.0, and the sugar, reducing sugar is about 3%, and ethanol 6%, and this, okay, yeah, that's about the Brembali, and this is a different one. This is the one is the alcoholic taste in the Wonokiri and Brahmadion disappear because of they already boiled it. But for the Brembali, they give some other fermentation to develop and to produce some alcohol. So then the alcohol concentration is quite high. Okay, that's about the fermentation using the starchy substrate such as cassava and rice, glutinous rice. And there's another thing. There's actually very few Indonesian fermented food which is use the raw material of milk, but this is just one part in Sumatra, in the West Sumatra. There is, they call it dadi, like dahi in India, or like look like a yogurt. This is on this produced and consumed only in West Sumatra in Minangkabau area. So the unique one is that the dadi is a fermented buffalo milk product in bamboo tube from Minangkabau, West Sumatra. You can find the producer of dadi in many area in West Sumatra, like in Padang Panjang, Bukit Tinggi, 50 Kota, Solo, Alhan Panjang, and Tanah Datar region. It's the taste and the texture is quite similar to yogurt, so we can call it a yogurt-like product because they don't use any starter culture. Yeah. The appearance is the smooth, glossy surface and creamy color, and with a good aroma and source taste, and all produced in home industry. And for the dadi, you can see that they sell it like this in the bamboo with cover with banana leaf, and dadi can be consumed directly like you consume yogurt or dahi, but dadi also can be used as can be used or can be mixed with various dishes. For instance, this is during the weddings or ethnic ceremonials in the West Sumatra. And because this look like milk, yeah, the dade also can be used as a substitute of coconut milk, and you can make with like a curry, beef curry. Yeah, you can use the dade. And the most popular dishes that make from dade is ampiang. That the people in Minangkabau region, they put some palm sugar, shredded coconut, and some other spices, yeah, to mix with dade. And now because the taste of dade is sour, and they also develop some food product, something like ice cream, jelly, or other beverage. And this is a very unique, because only in the West Sumatra. And if we look at the one, they used only buffalo milk. And if we look at the domestic buffalo is very important animal in Minang people. Yeah, Minangkabau is one of the well-known ethnic group in Indonesia. And if you look at the house, their traditional house, call it rumah gadang, the roof of the traditional Minangkabau house is resembled to the horn of the buffalo. Yeah, okay. So this is one, because this only produced and consumed in West Sumatra, so it's not spread to other part of Indonesia. And this is the one that is very unique of the dade production, is that the main material for the dade production is three. The first is buffalo milk, the second one is bamboo tube, and the third one is banana leaves. And here we can see that after the milking of the buffalo milk, the fresh unheated buffalo milk is filtered to get rid of the dirt and physical contamination, and then pour filling into the bamboo tube. So there is no heat treatment here. And then after that, cover with the bamboo tube, cover with the banana leaves, yeah, and then carry hold the spontaneous fermentation at room temperature for 24 hours or even more, for 2 or 3 days together, to produce the gut and sour taste of the dade. And the fermentation of dade is spontaneous fermentation. So the consortium of lactic acid bacteria, homofermentative and heterofermentative, produce lactic acid bacteria, and also beta-galactosidase enzyme, which hydrolyze lactose to lactic acid, and then the coagulation of buffalo milk beginning at pH below 5 and then completing at pH 4.6 after 2 days. So if we compare the dade fermentation and the dahi and yogurt, we can see here that dahi and dade have the same root name, yeah. But here the difference is, you can see that in dade there's no heat treatment, but in the dahi and in the yogurt there are some pasteurization of milk. The lactic acid bacteria came from the bamboo tube, or maybe from the banana leaf and from the milk. So no starter culture, and because of the fermentation carried out in the room temperature, or about 28 to 30 degrees C, so the lactic acid bacteria is mesophil. That's why the fermentation is quite longer than yogurt, 1 to 2 or 3 days. For the third day, there are some pasteurization, and they use the starter culture using the back sloping method. That means they use some of the yogurt from the previous batch as a starter culture. But for the yogurt, they use the particular starter culture of lactic acid Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus, which are the thermophilic lactic acid bacteria. So the fermentation is shorter, the fermentation time is shorter, about 4 to 6 hours. Okay, and now there's a lot of researchers interested in daddy. That's why, because in the daddy there are a lot of lactic acid bacteria. You can see the type of lactic acid bacteria from different parts of the West Sumatra, because the lactic acid bacteria can be varies based on the region, based on the bamboo that use, the type of bamboo, and also the environment. And it has been reported that the lactic acid bacteria in daddy have the antimicrobial properties, hypocholesterolemic properties, antimutagenetic properties, antioxidant properties, and folate producing ability. That's why now a lot of researchers try to find some functionality of the daddy and to isolate the microorganisms that have some have the good properties for the health. And also daddy has a potential as a probiotic source. A lot of researchers also isolate and select the lactic acid bacteria with probiotic properties. And for instance, that Surono et al. She already isolate or to find that some of Lactobacillus plantarum strain that have a potent as a probiotic, and she did a lot of research to prove the benefit and the properties of probiotic of that isolate, which is can reduce the addition of level of all pathogenic tested, and also found the increase of viable lactic acid bacteria in the fecal of rat after 3 days administration with that probiotic culture. And in Gadjah Mada University, in our research center, we also isolate lactic acid bacteria from daddy, which have a potential health benefit. I just show you some of our research result that we have found. We isolate the Lactobacillus plantarum 13 from daddy from West Sumatra, and we have tested the effect of the consumption of fermented milk containing Lactobacillus 13 in fecal microbiota of healthy people, and we found that the Lactobacillus plantarum in the fecal of the healthy Indonesian people increased significantly after consuming the fermented milk containing this indigenous probiotic, and also there's a tendency trend to reduce the E. coli and coliform non-E. coli. Besides the probiotic properties, this Lactobacillus plantarum also can be used as a starter culture for milk fermentation. And we already tested also for the addition properties and also the safety assessment of this indigenous probiotic strain. And now we still working to produce this probiotic. We produce a probiotic powder and also develop some food containing probiotic, this indigenous probiotic like probiotic chocolate bear, probiotic fermented milk, probiotic fermented drink, probiotic ice cream, and probiotic cheese, and we still work on that. and that's about that. And there is another unique fermentation. I think maybe in Thailand you also have like something like tempoyak because you have a lot of durian. Yeah, tempoyak is a traditional condiment made from the flesh or raw pulp of durian, natural fermented at room temperature, and normally they use the excess or poor quality or overripe fruit. Yeah. And this product is very popular in the people living in Rio, Sumatra. This next to the West Sumatra. Yeah, I think that's near the Malaysia. And this is very interesting that even though the fresh durian pulp is fermented without any heat application, there is no record of foodborne illness caused by the consumption of tempoyak. So to make the tempoyak is very quite simple. That durian we have add some low concentration of salt and then the carry out the fermentation for 3 to 7 days, and the tempoyak produce as a distinctive durian smell and creamy yellow color with sour and salty taste. And you can use as a condiment. You can put in with rice. You can use as put this with chili sauce, something like that. That's very nice. Okay, so the tempoyak is consumed with rice or cooking with some other dishes as a condiment. Tempoyak is the pH is for 3.9, so it's quite acid, yeah, and several lactic acid bacteria found in the tempoyak fermentation like Lactobacillus plantarum, Leuconostoc mesenteritis, Streptococcus fetalis, and etc. So this is the one that very popular in Rio, Sumatra. I think the last one is the fermented fish. Actually, we have a lot of fermented fish like rusip, chow, pekasam, but I just, because of the time, yeah, I just want to share some of fermented fish that called ikan peda. Yeah, ikan peda is described as being fatty and partly dry, salty fish with reddish brown color, moist and slightly paste with a flaky texture and specific flavor, with a cheesy, tasty, salty, and often mixed with mild rancid flavor. Usually, they use the mackerel or kambung fish, yeah, which mixed with 20 to 30% of salt, yeah, which carry out in 2 steps of fermentation. The enzyme derived from the fish is from the halophilic bacteria, and because of the fish is a protein material, so here the process is the degradation of protein into the more soluble one. That's it. That means there's some peptide, maybe there's some peptide that produced from the hydrolysis of protein, which carried out by the proteolytic enzyme from the some bacteria, especially bacteria. So this is a very popular for the peda. The process is very simple. Just put some salt, wash drain, and then put in the wooden box and cover with banana leaf, and again sprinkle with the salt about 3%, yeah, and then the fermentation for a week. The one that this is very traditional, and most of the islands, people in the all the islands in Indonesia, they have kind of fermented fish, yeah, with different type of fish and maybe different concentration. Some of them with rice or with wheat, or yeah, but basically they're salt fermentation, and because of the mostly hydrolysis of protein using the enzyme from the microbe. So now a lot of researchers in Indonesia try to isolate the proteolytic lactic acid bacteria, which can can be used as a starter culture for the fish fermentation, and so that can produce bioactive peptides such as for the ACE inhibitor, for the prevent the hypertension, or some biopeptide for the some other which have the health benefit. So many this is quite means a lot of people now interested in the isolated lactic acid bacteria, especially proteolytic lactic acid bacteria in fermented fish. I think the last one is the terasi. I think terasi is very popular condiment, like belacan in Sumatra. Yeah, this is a really condiment, so you cannot eat terasi, just terasi. So this is a salty fermented product that undergo alkaline fermentation made from fish or shrimp, which in the form is like paste. The terasi condiments is the flavor is cut from the glutamic acid and that specific flavor, and we got like a ripe cheese. Some is not like the flavor or the taste, but when you mix with some like chili or something like that, also you can make we call it sambal. It's very nice, and I think this product is related, closely related product like in Philippines and Bagong and Burma and Malaysia, and also in maybe in Thailand. You have a capi. Maybe then you can explain about that. And that's the terasi is a condiment and very very famous. It's part of our of condiment that we can use for any kind of disease. Okay, the fermentation or the product is almost very similar. It's always the same. We mix with salt and dry. Then we have to mince and press it and the wooden and again the fermentation, and so you can make it like a cake with a strong flavor. Yeah, this is for the terasi. I think that's all. So I can make a conclusion that the traditional fermented food are mostly carried out in involving a mixed culture, and the fermented Indonesian fermented food are not to be only nutritious but also have a healthy food, promising as a healthy food. And lactic acid bacteria involved in many Indonesian fermented food, and the Indonesian biodiversity of microbes involved in the traditional fermentation may give a opportunity to the exploration or to the research or to prove to get the beneficial effect of the microbe enzyme involved and also the metabolite as a functional food. And the researchers are still needed to discover the potential health benefit and improve the quality and the safety of traditional fermented food. Thank you very much.
As Professor, for your knowledge sharing. So I see that a lot of things look like similar in Thailand. So we sharing the cultures between Southeast Asia together. So now I think is in the question and answer sections. Now, anyone would like to ask in the live sections?
I can see this in the meeting chat. Can I?
Yes, I have someone asking in the chat too. So we can start in the chatting first.
Okay.
So for the first one.
From Adi Sampurno, tempe ferments around 2 to 3 days. If it takes longer, the tempe mushroom will change color from the.
Yes. So he asking for cereals, yes, for fermentation in tempes. How long of the fermentation occur should be, and what if had a long fermentation, then the suitable time is safe or healthy? On your opinions.
Okay. Yes. Actually, in Indonesia, yeah, usually the fermentation for the tempe is about 24 hours to 36 hours. Yeah. Or if you want to eat the tempe as the like to make a fried tempeh, something like that. But if the fermentation is longer, we call it like in Indonesia we call it tempe semang, overripe tempe fermentation, and we use
Uh-huh.
that as a condiment. We mix that with to make some dishes, something like that. Okay, that's one. But a lot of researchers also interested in the tempeh itself. I mean, without frying, something like that, because they found that some substance in the tempeh that can reduce the time for the diarrhea for the infant, something like that. So now we also interested to move further for the beneficial effect of the
Oh,
tempeh. Yeah.
okay.
But
So you
everybody in Indonesia eat tempe every day.
I would like to know too, it's like how long that if we keep this for long, is it still safe to eating? Like it's over like 3 days or 4 days, it can be eat if in the
Actually,
fermentation.
for the overripe, it's okay. We put as a condiment, but the taste is not nice. So we can put the tempeh after before the offer. We can put in the refrigerator or even in the freezer,
Mm.
because in Europe when I was studying there, they sell the tempeh as a healthy food, so they put a tempeh in the very high level, yeah, and it's quite
Ah,
expensive, yeah. But in
ah,
Indonesia, it's like a very cheap. Everybody can buy it. But
okay.
because of
Ah,
the health and the nutrition one, and in the European country, they put it as like a healthy food and for the
mm,
vegetarian
mm, mm,
people, something
mm.
like that. Yes.
Okay, so for the next questions, they're asking about I think it's in the section as they make the dahis, right?
Oh,
They say
daddy.
that yes, you use the bamboos,
Yes.
in doing the fermentation. So they're asking that the bamboos help in the process of fermentations or not?
Yeah. Okay. This is very, very unique and very interesting, because that's a
Mm.
really traditional fermented food. Because actually in Indonesia we don't drink milk a lot, but that's in that
Ah,
part. That's only that part of the West Sumatra, and that's a buffalo milk, and
mm.
they don't use any heat treatment. So after the milking, they just pour in the bamboo. There are several type of bamboo. They, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 type of bamboo that can be used for uh, the defermentation. Yeah, and then cover with the banana leaf. I think the lactic acid bacteria from the bamboo, yeah, they responsible for the defermentation, because a
Mm.
lot of the researchers in Indonesia, especially also in the West Sumatra, they isolate a lot of lactic acid bacteria from
Mm.
daddy, and they found that they have like antimicrobial activity, high antimicrobial activity, and also uh, they can survive in a very low pH, something like that. So they have a potent as a probiotic. So
Mm.
and also other benefit like uh, can be treated for the hypertension, something like that. So this is now a lot of researchers try to isolate lactic acid bacteria from different part of the West Sumatra for the purpose of the health benefit came from that lactic acid bacteria.
I see. So, there still had the question with the he is can we change the kind of milk because original is buffalo? Can we make it like a cow milk? Do you think it's different?
And in India, the dahi they use the back sloping method. So they use the from the previous beds as a starter culture. But here they use the always new bamboo because they sell it with the bamboo.
Okay. I see. Okay. So we have
that is very thick, even thicker than compared to yogurt.
Okay.
Because it's mixed culture.
I see. So there's still had questions about the dahi. So they're asking that without the non-heating process like pasteurizations for after you fermented of the dahi, is there the report about the food poisoning or food allergens, pathogenics about that?
Yeah, up to now there's any report about the food poisoning due to the pathogenic microorganism in daddy. I think after a lot of researcher study about the microorganism in daddy and found a lot of antimicrobial agent there. I think because of there's mixed culture, there's more than three different type of lactic acid bacteria, and they produce the acid that is very very low. That's already inhibit the growth of the pathogenic bacteria. Besides that lactic acid bacteria also have some antimicrobial activity. A lot of paper they reported the high antimicrobial activity of lactic acid bacteria isolated from a daddy. I think that's
for the two last question is about the tempeh. The first one is asking that can we promote tempeh like for the well-known just like a sheet or kimchi or because it's a sustainable food. Do you have the idea that can make like is promotions about tempeh?
Yes. Long time ago, the people wrap the soybean using banana leaf. Why they use a banana leaf? Because the banana leaf can give a condition of micro aerophilic. Yes, need a little oxygen, and also can prevent from the contamination from the outside. But they need some air, so that's why when I think the Heseltine, the Dutch people who introduced the plastic bag for tempeh fermentation, which should be perforated. Yeah, we have to make a hole. In
we
the
did that too.
Because they need air. If not, that is don't become an anaerobic. And also for the same for the tape. I think in Malaysia for the tape first a long time ago they used also the banana leaf, but now the modern one they use the like a plastic container, but still they have to make a hole on it.
Yes.
So they can convenient to bring to other place.
Okay, so we are end of the sections of question and answer. So thank you very much, Professor, for sharing the knowledge about the fermentation
very
for
happy.
today. Yes, we know a lot, not just only I know just only tempeh. So now we know it's a lot of too. So thank you so much for your information. For now, we're gonna move to the second speaker. So you know anything, so many things about the fermentation food in Indonesia, not just only what it is, but what is the microorganism responsible in there. So for now, we moving to the sections about fermentation food in Thailand. So we're gonna look that we are similar with Indonesia or not, and what is the difference. So I would like to invite our second speaker, Assistant Professor Dr. Pichayada Samboon, Assistant Dean of School of Food Industry, KMITL. So give the big hand to her. Dr. Pichar.
ค่ะ
Ah,
yes, good afternoon, everyone. So you can hear me clearly?
yes.
ค่ะ Hi, hello, everyone. And thank you อาจารย์อรชรค่ะ We are just like colleagues in the same building. And in Thailand right now, since after lunch. So for my talk, I hope everyone here had lunch already because I'm going to introduce you many of Thai food. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and please help me to check that it is you can see my screen or not.
Yes, we can see
Yes,
your screen
okay.
already.
Okay. Okay, everyone. As Ajahn Orachon introduced myself, my name is Pichayada Somboon, but most of my students will call me Ajahn Yai, or it's easier for my foreigner students, you can easily call me Dr. Picha. Like it, yeah. So today I'm going to share with you about fermented food in Thailand and also a little bit of its health benefits. But I also listening to the previous session, and I see that we have shared many similarities of our fermented products. So I think you will see as well after my talk. So before we go to the knowledge, I'm going to introduce you about my country first. I'm not sure that everyone here have been visit Thailand before. So if you are not, here is a location of Thailand. Here is a little blue ones. We are neighbor, very similar, located in the similar area. And here is Thailand. It looks like case of elephant. And for Bangkok, which our institute located is here at the center of Thailand. And we close to the sea, the Gulf of Thailand one, and also Andaman Sea here. So for today, I'm also introduce you my institutes, King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lat Krabang, with actually very close to Suvarnabhumi Airport. So if you're planning to visit Thailand by landing at Suvarnabhumi Airport, so you know that is very close to our institutes. And now we have many schools that teach in the different skills and knowledge. And for our school of food industry, we are looking for the future in the term of World Master of Food Innovations. And our latest activities is that the students are presenting their projects, like the first year or the final years undergrad student, they present that project. And also we have the event that opens our school for the high school students to visit our school, and many activity for them to present their works, especially for the project that involve with food. So here going to introduce you some food. Yeah. I hope you tried before. So if we talk about Thailand, many people know Thailand because of our food. It's delicious, and the taste is quite strong, and many tastes that you can experience. The famous one is the kind of soup, tom yum soup. If you love sour and spicy. This is a recommend one. And we also have the coconut chicken soup, which made from the coconut milk. And also, if you go to the northern part, we also have the chicken noodle with some spice. We call it cow soy. This. And we also have the next menu that very famous. It's the spicy soup as well, but different taste and have some spice and vegetables in as an ingredient. We call it gang kiao wan. We commonly eat with the noodle. We call it khanom jeen. And if you are the light lover, you can eat with rice as well. Here I have lunch for today. This menu, so it's the pad thai. So it's quite famous, very popular for the tourists. So here pad thai, and we also have pad kra pao. We eat it with rice, and this fried rice, the most popular menu for tourists. And you see that for Thai food we have many design and ingredients quite different from each of menu. And actually, because of our country, we are rich in the resource. We have land. We also have waters. And if you still remember our map, you will see that in Thailand we have many border with ocean and the sea, and on land we also have many river. So we have a lot of resource from waters, and because of that we have rich in fishing resource, and we have lake, we have sea, and we also grow some rice, and in the rice paddy we farm the fish. So we have fish as a main resource for food for a very long time ago. So today I'm going to share with you the fermented fish menu mostly, but I also will share with you with some other fermented Thai food products, but mostly will be fish because we have a lot of the different of fermented fish menu in Thailand. Right here, fermented. I know that you here know some basis about the fermentations, right? The fermentation is actually human uses for very long time ago. We have some different fermented products for each of the country around the world. The fermentation process is actually used for extend shelf life of food, but we also use them nowadays for increase or create some flavor or nutrition for our product, because we doesn't need it for only the purpose to extend the shelf life. We have other technology to help with that. But now we are using fermentation process to enhance the flavor or improve the nutritional quality of products. And like you learn from the tempeh products, we have more and more customers who focus on the healthy food and functional food, with actually fermentation can help a lot with that. The fermentation is actually the process that occur by the work of microorganisms, which actually growing naturally in the environment. But whenever we limit the oxygen, they will shift to anaerobic respiration, and turn out the final products will different from the aerobic respiration. We then have carbon dioxide, we then have ethanol, we then have the acid, and we can use it as a product to improve the quality of our food. Like you are going to ferment the dough for your bread, or you are going to make the lacto fermentation for your veggie and other products. So we use it as a process by manipulations of microorganisms. Here some fermentation that I just talked with you, that the fermentation is anaerobic catabolism of microorganisms, that they just like to produce the energy but they don't have the oxygen, so they have to shift to another metabolism in order to survive. And we then have the product like ethanol or lactic acid or other acid as a product from the fermentation process. And here, the methods of fermentation, we actually can easily group up the fermentation based on the liquid that we use in the process. The first one, if you use for liquid fermentation, you add a lot of the liquid into the process, then we will know it as the liquid fermentation or submerged fermentation. And another one, the solid state fermentation, is the ratio of the liquid in this kind of fermentation process will less than the first one. And it also involved with the microorganism that will present in the fermentation process. If you use more water or allow more water to be majority portion in the fermentation, it means that the microorganism mostly will be the bacteria. And if you are going to perform the solid state fermentation, you will notice that the microorganism that will grow and survive in that less water process will be the mold of fungi. And here's some summarized in the table that we can go through about the factor that affects for fermentation. And most of the important factor is the water that can indicate what kind of the microorganism that will be play the major role to the fermentation process. And other things is a substrate. If you use the plant, it will be another group of microorganism. But if you use some kind of meat, it will be another microorganism. So the substrate is also one that will be indicate the microorganism who ferment your product. And other things will be the temperature, the oxygen or aerations, or the pH control, that you will see that it will help with the controlling of fermentation process. And the others factor is showing a little effect for the fermentation process that you can like go through if you are interested in the future. And here's I showing you the main group of microorganisms that involved with fermentation process. Some product you are familiar with, which is the tempeh. We here know the tempeh as the well-known example of the fermented products that made from soybean. And we also have another example of the fermentation products for like beverage, wine or beer, that we use the grape for fermentation, and we have the alcoholic beverage. So you will see the difference between these two products is undergoes the fermentation process, but turn out the final product is different because we know that the first one is the solid state fermentation, and the second one is the liquid fermentation. So it means that microorganism that perform the fermentation process for these two products is also different. So here in this table, it's showing you the group of the microorganisms that we know that they are play a role in many fermentations of the food products. For example, bacillus or lactic acid bacteria. If we talk about yeast, actually we know a lot that Saccharomyces cerevisiae is playing a major role in the alcoholic beverage, and also ethanol in the bioethanol as well. And also fungi, we have many fungi that can use in fermentations, for example, rhizopus. Or if you want to ferment for another product like the bioactive compound, you can use like penicillium as well. So we have a lot of the microorganisms that we can use them to ferment and produce some products. And if we focus more on the food, why fermented food have gained a lot of attention nowadays? Because of people comes to focus more on their health, like you are trying to adjust your metabolism to be more healthy by focus on what you eat, because you see that nowadays we have many stress from work or environment, so we have to like boost up in our immune by exercising or by designing your food. And some people are trying to eat more food stuff with the high fiber content, which actually will help you to improve your gut, because it can help the microorganism in your gut to grow better, and turns out help your health better. So in with the same idea with the fermented food, we actually eat the fermentation food, which actually pass some process from microorganism. This microorganism change some structure and also produce some metabolite that can help boost up our immune. The fermented food that we eat, we sometimes we use also the microorganism that's still alive in together with the food, go through our GI tract and then go to the gut. It survives there and help to increase the diversity of microorganism there. And turns out they produce the beneficial metabolism that help to decrease the inflammatory signal and activity. Then it show the brain with the better signal and metabolite. So it will help you. The study show that the fermented food diets, it also help actually better than the high fiber diet to increase the microbiome diversity and also decrease the marker of inflammation in your body. So you know that the inflammation is the source of many bad health for you. And here is the information that are showing you the probiotic that can help you. It's actually located in your gut, but it turns out control your brain. So if you have a better gut, then you have a better brain, and also you have a better health for yourself. So you see that this is a healthy person that have varieties of the probiotics in the gut. So you see the cell is very healthy. It fit with the next cell. But if you have the bad community of the microorganism in your gut, and then the cell looks very leak. From the leak, it will affect with the metabolites, for example, lipopolysaccharide, that can then turns out promote the cell with the inflammatory signal. So then you have some inflammatory occur inside. Your body notice some oxidative stress, and then your brain become like going to be sick, and your mood will be like very bad and blue. So it turns out you have the poor health as well. So with this, you can change to have a better health by eat more the healthier food products or more fermented food products. So here in Thailand, we come back to Thailand, that we have a lot more fish to consume. Then the one process that we choose from very long time ago, we choose to ferment the fish and use in the house for many times. And the most famous fermented fish product in Thailand is this one, the fish sauce. We call it nam pla. So nam pla is a very important ingredient that we cannot miss when we cook or when we eat Thai food. So here, I believe that is now exported to everywhere in the world. And this brand is quite famous. Fish sauce has, you can see the squid symbol. We in Thailand, we call it pla mực, and we call it nam pla. So here, nam pla is a fish sauce that made from fermentation of fish and salt. And we also have another kind of product that also use the fermentation process, but not from fish, but from shrimp, and have less liquid in the product. So here we call it kapi, this one. Yeah. And in the southern part, we have a similar food products that we call budu. I believe that you also have in your country. I'm not sure. For budu is made from the fermentations of the fish and salts as well, but it's from mostly from the sea fish, from marine. So Nampla is from the central Thailand. We use the freshwater fish to ferment, and these products like Thai ply ferment fish and hoi dong, we use another maso meat to ferment. Here is the hoi dong. We usually add it into the dip menu or in the papaya salad. So for fermented fish that we mostly perform, we will fermented it with the salt mostly and the carbohydrate. We commonly use the freshwater fish and freshwater shrimp for performed the fermented fish products, and we have adapt some content or ingredients inside the fermentation process, and turn out we have many more diversity of the fermented fish. Okay, the first one here, as you can see, para in this Thai name, which actually ferment from fish, salt, and roasted rice powder. Because it's actually from Thai culture, we grow a lot of rice, and with rice paddle, we have to add and use a lot of water. Then we grow the fish there, so fish and rice come together at every time. So in that, when we fermented fish, we also have rice. The rice turn out as a carbohydrate source for microorganism. And we have another kind of the product like prasom. It means that there is something different from para, because if you can see here, it used cooked rice, not roasted rice, but cooked rice, and also add some garlic. So at different component, we also have different flavor and some smell of the product at the end. And we have another kind of product that we adjust the source of carbon source or carbohydrate source in the fermentation process. Like this one, we adjust to use khao mak. Is another kind of rice that fermented before, and here is similar to this one, to these products, but we use not whole fish, but we mince it before. So the fish that we use in the fermentation will be a smaller fish. So with different area of meat or fish meat we use in the process, it allows the microorganism to digest different ways. So we have different products at the end. And here is the salt. We know that salt have the effect in preventing of the some microorganism, because if you take salt, it's salty, and it's also affect the pH of the food products of the fermentation environment. So some microorganism cannot tolerate to the salt or the low pH, so they will not survive in the fermentation process with salt. So at this level, we help the fermentation process by preventing some microorganisms that cannot tolerate to salt. So most of that microorganism are the spoilage microorganism or pathogen. So this one we help with the control of the safety of our fermented food by using salt in the fermentation process. And it also helps to lower the preservative that sometimes required in the food to extend their shelf life, and also lower the degree of acidic or major treatment, and also have the positive impact on the nutritional of the product, and also help to improve the quality. And another thing that we add into the fermentation process is carbohydrate, that we can play a lot with it, and it turn out effect on the final product of fermentation. In this one, in the picture that you see, the cooked rice, so the taste of the final product will be more sour taste for this one. And roasted right here, you see the color of the product will be more brown color, and the smell that we can obtain from the product will be different from this one. And we also have sticky rice. We also have the rice band or the color rice. So all this will affect the fermented fish products in Thailand. And here it mentioned that the rice is the source of carbohydrate for microorganisms in fermentation, which mainly the bacteria who produce the acid or lactic acid bacteria, that is the major microorganism who perform the fermentation and also produce the acid that we can taste as like sour taste, and limit the other microorganism that can like contaminate and spoil the fermentation products. So this one, we are going to see the first products, the most popular one of famous one of Thailand. Whenever you go to Thai restaurants, you will see this small dish that actually contain nam pla or fish sauce and the slice of chili inside is very famous one. So this one is actually the traditional products of Central Thailand. Here of Central Thailand, you see the Central Part. We have Bangkok, that we also have the main river of Thailand called Chao Phraya River, which actually flow from like central part of Thailand through Ayutthaya province, which is ancient city, and we also have others province that rich in culture resource like fruit. We have Chinatown in Bangkok as well, and you see most of the activity of Thai people in the central part is they are growing rice here. So the product is a fish made as a main products from very long time ago. And in Thailand, we have many fish sauce brand that we can like shop in the market. It's mostly they are the same, but as customer, I see different, and I also have my favorite brand for fish sauce. And here, the sample of the menu that we can create by using fish sauce. The first one is the raw dish we create by dipping the raw shrimp in the nam pla or fish sauce, and we add the garlic, chili, or others like lime or lemon. So the taste is very sour and spicy. And this one, we have some kind of the chili fish sauce to eat together with the most of Thai menu. And this one, the sauce for sour mango that we can add like the fish sauce as a main ingredient with some sugar, or sometimes we add kapi or shrimp paste inside with some chili, and we eat together with the sour mango. It's very delicious, and now it's the season of this menu. So how to make fish sauce is actually not hard. It's you can make it yourself, but you have to have the fish. Each fish or each raw material is different. It will provide you different end products, taste, smell as well, and color as well. So you are seeing the main ingredients, the substrate for the making fish sauce, with anchovy and minnow. These two are very popular fish in Thailand for making fish sauce is small one because we sell the bigger one for the market, and then we have left the small one to eat in the family. And the small fish we cannot eat like for the major dish, so then we use it for fermentation. And we can also use another animals like shrimp or the crab or squid, and also the oyster as well. So for this one, you have to clean the fish. If you have a big fish, then you have to cut it to smaller pieces and clean it. You have to clean it well. And then with the ratio that you can try to 1 or 3:1 ratio of fish to salt. And then you place it in the closed container up to 12 months, because we want to create the smell, the better smells, the smell. If you ferment it shorter than 12 months, the smell will not good. It will be like stinky a little, fishy a little. So the most of the time they will ferment the fish sauce like up to 12 months. Okay, and for Nam Pla in Thailand, after the study, we see that we have a lot of microorganisms involved in the fermentation process that you can see in this one. It's a group of microorganisms that can grow, but it's different, depends on time. The first 6 months, we have a lot of microorganisms that present in the system. And then after 6 months, we have this one, join the community. More of the microorganisms that can survive in the low pH condition, because we use salt, a lot of salt. So most of the microorganisms that like the salt or low pH, salt or the high pH, they will present in the system. And for this one is the lentibacillus, which mostly they love for the extreme halophilic condition. And because we can use different of the sauce, for example, fish or shrimp or others, or even the different species of fish, it means that we have different source of protein. So after the fermentation, the microorganism will digest that proteins and turns out for the smaller protein, peptide, or even amino acid. And in this study that you are seeing the result, they use different of the fish, and they also vary the content of salt and time that they use to ferment of the fish sauce. And it presents the different profile of the amino acid in the fish sauce products. So here is the reason why each of the brand of the fish sauce showing different profile of the sometimes smell, taste, and also amino acid. Which amino acid here will help improve the taste of your food. And here I summarize for you the factor that can affect the fish sauce quality. The first one, fish species, of course, and second one, the type of salt, and the third one, the ratio of fish to salt, and the fourth is the additions of the ingredient that can actually be added in the extra factor, but sometimes it helps to showing the uniquity of the your products and the fermentation condition. So here is a video that they produce Thai fish sauce. If you interest, you can go to this video. Is available in the YouTube. So next one is the fermented fish that we call it para. It's different from fish sauce. Actually, para, we will eat it with the meat, fish meat that we eat, not the liquid parts, just like the sauce. So for para, we use it as the ingredient for the menu. For example, papaya salad, which is actually popular. We can add it as a sauce here, or we put the meat into the menu. So it becomes now recently the fish sauce, actually the para sauce, is coming more popular, and we see it more often in the market, and we can add it into many menu. But most of the para products is created in the northeast of Thailand and some part in the center of Thailand. We can create like a dipping of the menu, and we can, like, if we do the paras from the big fish, then we can have the whole fish for menu like fried, and we can add like ingredient to present the smell in the fried rice menu. Okay, here is the process of making para. We have fish which actually can use many kind of fish, but for para we will use a bigger fish than the nam pla. So we first clean the fish just like in the nam pla. We clean the fish and then we add here rice. You can use the roasted rice. We added the roasted rice, we add salt, and then we mix it well, and we create like a layer. We put the first layer in the container, and then we add more fish, and then we have salt, and then the roasted rice. Do it layer by layer to the level that you have prepared, and then we close the container, and we will set the environment for the microorganism to start the fermentation. So here the majority of microorganisms that will present in the fermentation process of para is the lactic acid bacteria in this group, which is similar to the nampla, and also the halophilic bacteria. This group that can tolerate to the salt also present as well. So in Thailand, we have many community that they group together and do the para and sell as products of the community. Okay, here's the example. The auntie, she is a well-known person who can ferment paras. It's very delicious and sell all over Thailand. Next one is the sauce. We are going southern part of Thailand. We have fermented fish sauce, which is actually budu. Budu is also the menu that we can create with fish as a dipping sauce, or here in southern part of Thailand, we actually have many provinces here. We have the area that connect to Andaman Sea, and the area that connect to the Thai Gulf. So we are rich in marine sauce. And here we have the famous menu in like, for example, this one, they use the grilled catfish to make a curry soup. And this one is also famous. In Thai, we call it gang tai pla. And is dipping sauce with the spicy salad. So here is also community products that people in the village come together, and then they do the fermentations of budu. So here, the budu, you will see it present in the fermentations of the whole fish, but small one. This fish is from the sea, not like nampla. It's mostly from the fresh water, and the products, the Voodoo product is different from Nampa. Nampa, they will use the liquids as clear liquid, but Voodoo is will mix liquid with some part of the fish is already ferment and digest into the smaller pieces, and then they use that all for eating. And with this kind of the property, they create the cube, Voodoo cube, to help with the cooking to be more easier. Like here, they do it like here. So for Voodoo, you can use the fish that we call like saitan, the smaller one here that we have a lot from the fishing, and also this fish in Thai we call katak, in the other fish as well. So in this Voodoo, we can like start fermentation for like 3 or 6 months. We can eat it, but if you have you want more flavor to be create from fermentation process, then you can let the fermentation go on for 1 year, for example. And the microorganism in Voodoo is quite similar to Nampla and also in Para. Is in this group, you will see the similar name like Bacillus. And here the ingredient that we analyze is also a lot of the protein, take up majorities of the products of fermentation. And we have the clip video that go to the source of the Voodoo place, create plate, and you can visit this video later. So we come to another products, not fish anymore. So in Thai, we also have other meat products that we call like nam. We actually create nam by using meat, pork, or but nowadays we have more veggie people who eat vegetables. So we have nam that create from the mushroom, and it's very delicious. My student, they're able to do the mushroom nams, and it's quite delicious. Yeah, from nam is also taste sour, and we add the herb in the process as well. It's just summarize of the fermentation process of nam. If you use meat, then you can have meat as a main ingredient, but you can replace it with others protein source, for example mushroom. So here you make it like a small pieces, mince it, and then you have garlic. You prepare the garlic, and then with some salt you mix it with the meat, and then place it in the container that will close and limit the oxygen, and then you allow a few days to allow the fermentation to process, and then the microorganism will start their fermentation process and produce the acid, and then you can taste the sour taste of the product. If you like more sour, then you leave it longer. So mostly we leave it for 3-day fermentation, and then the microorganism that start fermentation will be like lactobacillus or leuconostoc for that one. And we have many menu that create from nam. For example, you can fry it or grill it and eat with others fresh vegetable or herb, or you can make fried rice like this one. And we also have the fermented soybean, which actually famous in northern part of Thailand. So we call it tua now. This one is similar to natto of Japan. So this one here is northern part of Thailand. Here we have a lot of mountain there, rich in mountain, and in the winter it's very cold. And we also famous, the northern part of Thailand also famous for the festival that we call Songkran festival, and they have many famous foods. One of them is the tua nao that local people eat it for a long time ago. So to do tua nao, it's very easy. You start by having soybean seed first, and then you clean it, wash it, and soak it in water for overnight. And then after one night, you boil it until the soybean soft, and leave it dry, and wrap it with banana leaf, with banana leaf, and then you close it, and to limit the oxygen and allow the facultative fermentation to occur for some time. And then after you want to stop the fermentation, then you can cook by steaming or roasting the product here like this. This is after you finish the fermentation. It look like this. Is sticky with some slime here. But in Thailand, Thai people will not eat the fresh one just like natto because the smell is too strong. So we will process the product first by steaming or roasting like this. And sometimes we cook with some herb to like reduce the smell of the products here. And we compare the tua nao with other products. For example, natto from Japan and from India, from Korea as well, which actually presents majority in the nutrition of protein, rich in protein, and we have also others like fat and fiber that can present from the natto or tua nao as well. And we also have another fermented products like vegetables. We use this cabbage. We call it pakat dong. It's also very famous. We use this for making soup here. And we have, because in Thailand, we have the land resource as well, that we can doing like farm or vegetable farm, and we can have like this one. And also the ferment of the white spider flower, we call it pak sian dong. And also we have a lot of bamboo that we can do the fermented bamboo to eat it like across the year. And the microorganism that take responsible for the vegetable fermentation will be this group of them here, which produce the acid to the products. And in this one is the come to the very end of my presentation, that I'm showing you the summary table that summarize a lot of the Thai fermented products, and also the microorganism that present as a majority responsible for the each type of fermented food, and some bioactivity of them that can present at the benefit to the consumer. For example, here if the fermented soybean, here you see the bacillus. We use bacillus as microorganism that have the activity for proteolytic activity, and also help us to improve the allergic to our body. And then we can have another kind of ferments like fish sauce, that we have microorganism that can produce with the some amino acid and help to digest the protein from the animal, from fish. So here we have many fermented food that present with this one, which have the ability to produce the exopolysaccharides. For example, the dextran or other exopolysaccharides as well, which actually help to improve the to increase the polysaccharide or the carbohydrate that help with the environment or enhance the availability of the other microorganism as well. So it's come to an end of my presentation, and I'm showing you a lot of picture of Thai food as well. And I hope that you are enjoying my talk, and any the question are welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, อาจารย์ใหญ่ for good looking food. So you make me hungry now. And I really like fish sauce so much. It make your life more lively. So we had the question from Cheryl. Maybe they has a question about the fish fermentation food. What kind of fish to process this fermented food? And they had the criteria for selecting the fish for fermentations and benefits of consuming fermented fish, except it's tasty. Okay, so and the disadvantage for fermented fish. They had the many questions inside the same questions. So the first one first, that they had the criteria to select the fish for fish sauce, or fermented
Okay.
fish.
It's actually, we have to understand first that the fish sauce we create is the original idea of fish sauce is not use the fish for create some food, but to use like reduce the waste of fish from the season, because there, when you finish the rice growing rice season, then you have fish in that land as a waste. You cannot eat it in time, then you have to find some process. The bigger fish, you can sell it to the market, but the smaller one, the price is not good. So then the way that we can do is to eat the smaller fish, and smaller fish actually have a lot of them in the rice paddles. So we use it for fermentations. So the first question, we actually don't have the ideal fish for the fish sauce fermentation, but we can ferment any kind of fish, but you have to make sure that that fish is clean. And if you use different size, different species of fish, different kind of fish, then you have to prepare it in the similar size. So this is the main idea. But if you are going to produce the products and sell it, then you have to find your unique point of your products. It means that you have to pay more attention on selecting species of fish. Then at this point, if you are going to start the business, then you have to select the species of the fish, not only use every fish. That in that way you cannot control the quality and you cannot sell the unique point. So it depends on the purpose. If you want to sell it as a business, then you have to control the species of fish. But if you just want to reduce the waste, then you can do by using any type of fish, but try to prepare it in the similar size. Then you can control the fermentation process that will be finished in the same time and not spoiled by others microorganisms.
I see. So they have the benefits or the disadvantage of the fermented fish in your ideas?
Of course, because the fermented fish, we know that the fish is rich in protein. So if you are consuming fermented fish, then you have a peptide or amino acid. But you have to be more careful. You cannot eat more or a lot of the fish sauce because it contains high salt. It will harm your kidney. But if we are focused more on the benefits of it, so it have a benefit that in terms of the rich in amino acid.
Okay. So the next question they're asking about the fermented fish too. So they're asking that they used to hear about น้ำปลา and another one is น้ำปลาร้า is it the same or is it different? And how it can be application in each one?
So น้ำปลา is actually the products that we focus more on using only the liquid. You will see the good quality น้ำปลา the liquid will be crystal clear, but the ปลาร้า it will contain the meat of the fish. So it means that the major part of the product will be meat, not liquid, from the fermentation. It different selling part. So for ปลาร้า you don't need to ferment for very long time because we focus more on the proteins meat, but for น้ำปลาcontinue the fermentation time, you will have a different or better flavor profile. So it different focus of the products.
Okay, so what is the applications about the in น้ำปลา and น้ำปลาร้า in different kind of food or
It
not?
actually we can the purpose of using is quite the same. Like for example, the first one, because it contain a lot of protein, it improve taste, like provide you the umami taste in your food. But for ปลาร้า we actually น้ำปลา and ปลาร้า is actually from the different part of Thailand, and in that area we have different food for local people. For the ปลาร้า we actually eat the meat and we use it in the ingredient in like papaya salad, or you can use it as the meat for making the dipping menu.
I see. So this is a difference between two, but I suggest that you should try by yourself. It's yes, it's two is tasty too. So any questions from the live sections? So if not and if you have the question, you can leave on the chat or something. So today I think it is time already. So thank you very much for Dr. Pichayada for give us about the informations about fermented food today. So you will see the similar about the Indonesia foods and Thai food, a little bit different from the ingredients. Most in Thailand is will be depend on the regions, right? On the raw materials or something like that. So I hope that everyone enjoys for this webinar. So many food and like I say, fermented food is always fantastic things because and not processing anything had a similar flavor like fermentation. So this is amazing of fermentation. We are on the last sections already, and for the end of this webinar, I will showing about the okay, we're showing about the QR code for the webinar certificate. So, Pino, could you sharing the QR code, please? Okay. So we will add the link in the chat box too. So you can scan the QR code, adding your positions, your name and your surname. So it will be online certificate direct to your email. So you will got this one and in your email too. So you can be scanning. And this time is the food industry webinar for episode 5. We still have the webinar in every month about food. So if you would like to join us, you can follow up the news about the webinar on the Facebook, like here, food industry, KMITL. Just typing, you will see them. And we also sharing about the knowledge in food science and technology, food processing, and fermented food and culinary science through this webinar with the international speaker from Europe, USA, and in the Asia. So if you would like to see what's happened in the next episode, you should follow our Facebook. And this presentation will be uploaded in YouTube too. So thank you everyone to join us today. I hope that everyone gained the knowledge about fermentations. And if you have the chance, try something that you studied today, and you will know that it will make your lives more tasty. So thank you very much for joining us today again, and thank you for the two speakers to sharing the knowledge for today. I hope see you in the next webinar. So you can scan, I will leave link for the 5 minutes for you can scan for the webinar and certificate. And this link will be in. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone and enjoy this afternoon. So thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ
ครับ